Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. That is something I never thought I would say, but here we are, Sha. Hi guys, my name is Mofiko Akwe, aka Fin Sko, and this is my YouTube channel, which I literally just decided to make this evening. I don't really have a clear idea what I'm going to do here, but I think I'm mostly going to be talking about literature, especially Nigerian fiction and poetry. I'm also likely going to be talking about like body positivity, anti-fatness, fat phobia, maybe a bit about my law degree and like career choices. But in general, it's gonna be cute, it's gonna be popping, and it's gonna be nice. Yeah. Anywho, my first video today is about the 5 books I have read in the last literally maybe like 7 days. I've been like really hungry for fiction and I've been reading a lot, and I want to tell you guys about some of the books I've been reading. Because I have really small arms, this is not going to work very well. I'm trying to show you guys 5 of the books that I have read. Because I cannot carry all of them at the same time. That is our pumping machine neighbor. So I'm gonna cut here and resume. Well, my hands are not as big as I thought, but I'm trying to show you guys all 5 books at once. Seems like I cannot do it, so I will just put a picture in the next frame. Sorry for the brief break in transmission. But the first book I'm going to talk about is this. It's Season of Crimson Blossoms by Abubakar Adam Ibrahim, and it literally went on to like win so many awards, and I can see why. So I've not come across a lot of fiction from northern Nigeria, so this was a pleasant surprise. And it takes us through the life of Binta, who is a widowed alhaja, and Rega, who is like a drug lord in the area, and they actually like have an affair, which is like really scandalous because like purity culture and like the really how do I say this, like the devil is working against this video. I'll be back. The book has romance, but it's also really political, and it takes us through the political unrest that was happening in Jos. And I feel like for a lot of us who live in the southern part of Nigeria, we're often far removed from religious and political unrest that's happening in other parts of the country. So this was a very good book that discussed that and that opened my eyes to the kind of political unrest happening in the other side of the country. It was really interesting. It took a bit for me to really get into it, but once you get into it, you're really going to enjoy it. Buckle in and like enjoy the roller coaster ride. It has politics, has romance, has really good imagery, so like description of the environment, everything you could possibly want in Season of Crimson Blossoms by Abubakar Adam Ibrahim. Definitely recommend. The next thing I read after that was this, Love is Power, or something like that, and it's a collection of short stories by A. Igoni Barrett, who has also written Black Ass, which I haven't read. I love short story collections because you get to go through them so quickly. They don't require the long attention span that most novels need, and it just allows you to enter a different kind of world every few pages. This one has 9 stories, and it's 185 pages long. I think that it's really rich and really interesting. So most of the stories are situated in Port Harcourt or in the south region of the country, so it's another nice book to kind of get out of your comfort zone if you're like me, born and raised in Lagos or mostly in the southwest. It takes you to a different geopolitical zone, and so you get to see different names, which is like a big thing for me. I always like discovering the new names, see different scenery, see different political arrangements and all that kind of stuff. If I had to pick my favorite story from here, I think it would definitely be Godspeed and Perpetua, which takes us through the life of this couple, from their early courting days to them raising a family and to them growing old together. It's probably the longest story in the collection, so it allows for the most character development, and it really sets the scene for a lot of what's going to happen. I think Love is Power, or something like that, is a very impressive collection. I would give it a solid 8/10, and I really recommend you reading it. Another short story collection, Better Never Than Late by Chika Onugwe. I've read her earlier book on Black Sister Street when I was like 15 or 16 in secondary school, and I loved it. I thought it was really interesting. It was about like migrant life for sex workers, not willing sex workers, but people who migrated from Nigeria to Europe and who were swindled and obviously led astray and had to become forcefully sex workers abroad. And Better Never Than Late is another short story collection about migration, but this time it's not just mainly about sex workers. It covers a whole range of people. I think that my most interesting story here is about this couple who moved from Jos to Belgium, I think, and they had such promising and like interesting lives in Nigeria before they decided to move when Jos became too unsafe because of political attacks and all the religious tensions. And so they moved to Belgium, but their quality of life in Belgium was nothing like they thought it was going to be. She was a banker and he owned a supermarket here, and they moved to Belgium where she was a cleaner and he was working in a bread factory. They found their lives to be very unsatisfactory, but they couldn't go back. They felt like they had already come too far to go back. And we see a lot, especially of the woman's displeasure and a dissatisfaction with her life. But that's probably the strongest story, or the strongest stories in the book. The majority of the stories in this collection for me were very meh. Like, I couldn't get into the characters, I couldn't get into the plot, I couldn't get into the stories. So it wasn't the most enjoyable collection for me, unfortunately. I think if I had to rate it, I would actually have to rate it like 5 out of 10. It wasn't the most yummy collection for me at all. Compare that to Chimeka Garrick's A Broken People's Playlist, which is a 10 over 10. I could not recommend this book more to you. Whatever you're doing now, jump out of your bed and go and buy this book. Tell them that Prince Costco told you to buy this book. You will never regret it. You will never regret it. A Broken People's Playlist is an enchanting short story collection. I say it's enchanting because I literally sat down and I finished reading it at once. Like, I couldn't put it down. The characters in this short story collection, they literally feel like people I could have met in Lagos. They feel like people I could bump into in Bogobri when I'm drinking. And I feel like that kind of accessibility, that kind of relatability is what endeared me so much to this novel. And I think that the thing he does where, because it's a short story collection, it's not a novel, so things don't happen like sequentially and follow in that way. But you're in short story collection, you're in short story 1 reading about this guy, and then you're in short story 8 and you read about him again and see how his life has progressed, you see how things have changed in the meantime, how other things were going on. That kind of interweaving of the characters was really exciting for me to see, and I really enjoyed it. I think the short story collection here in total has 12 stories, and it's really cute because all the stories are actually named after songs. So there's one called You Supposed to Know, which is a best song featuring Yemi Alade. There's I Die Without You, PM Dawn. There's Love's Divine by Seal. I think that was a really interesting and like quirky thing to do for the book. I can't even pick like my favorite story here. I have like a starring system. I don't know if you guys can see this. I have a starring system where I put a number of stars beside each short story to say how much I enjoyed it. The least number of stars I have here is 3 and the highest is 5. So if you get Chimeka Garrick's A Broken People's Playlist, my 5-star recommended stories here are Hurt, I Die Without You, Desperado, and Hurt. I feel like those 4 stories, because they do the thing I mentioned earlier about the interweaving characters, you get to see characters grow in a way that's not too popular with short story collections. So you see a character that is like young, maybe secondary school in short story 4, and then in short story 8 he's divorced, experiencing erectile dysfunction, he's lost his wife, he's lost his career, and you're like, wow, how did you go from this person to this person? So that kind of character development is done really well in this book, and this book was so good that I literally had to like look up Chimeka Garrick's other work, which leads me to my final book that I'll be discussing in this video, Tomorrow Died Yesterday by Chimeka Garrick. Now, when I say this book is a 10 over 10, I really do mean that it is a 10 over 10. I mean plot, check, characters, check, suspense, check, imagery, check, check, everything 10 over 10. It is such a good book. I started reading it at 10 p.m. and I stayed up till 3 a.m. in the morning to finish it. I usually sat in the parlor with a lamp. I was like, I'm not going to sleep until I find out what happens at the end of this book. And it's so, like, the setting is very rich. It's set in the Niger Delta, on an island where obviously they've discovered oil, and it takes us through the whole Niger Delta militant crisis, the kidnappings, the glass fairing. And I think that, once again, for someone who was born and raised in Lagos, this kind of literature is so exciting, and like it really captivates me, because I've never seen these places before. I schooled in Osun State in Olashere, and that's probably the furthest I've been from Lagos. And these kind of books just transport you to a completely different place, completely different names, completely different settings, everything. And you're just like, how did I not know that this kind of world exists? The characters in this book, guys, I love them. You see, Kani and Diola, like, I actually want to meet them, and I want to cook for them. I want to cook coconut rice and fish for them. Like, I actually want to, like, talk to them. I feel like this level of character development is impressive. It is impressive. As a writer, to achieve this, it shows like the amount of time and effort that goes into your work to be able to weave this kind of people and weave this kind of stories. It is impressive. No two ways about it. Impressive. I think that the book's strengths are definitely in the characters and definitely in the setting, and it's so rich with like historical stories, and the political side as well, and the romances that are blossoming under are so well woven into the story that it doesn't feel like they just tagged along a romance so that it would be palatable to read. Their stories, even the romantic parts of the story, are layered, they're interconnected, they really draw you in. So Chiemeka Garrick's Tomorrow Died Yesterday, another fantastic book. I definitely recommend. And those are the 5 books that I'll be talking about in this video. All these books were bought from Wida House Bookstore. I will put their Instagram handle in the description box below. Their customer service is fantastic. They'll answer you on time, and you can get all these books. I definitely had fun doing this video, and I hope that I have the consistency to continue and do another thing another time. But in the meantime, my Twitter is @FiniscoSchool. I talk about literature and many other things there, so follow me. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye.